I know I'm doing an impromptu video. Um, Something happened, and I'm a little paranoid as I should be. So, do know I will be looking around. I'm parked somewhere different. Um, Something happened. I hacked into something. It was purposeful, but I didn't know it could happen this way. So I wanted to make a video kind of like documenting it for myself and a little bit for my safety, um, and to speak on this. So for those who are new to Patreon, most of those who are OGs on Patreon know this is sometimes what happens. We'll find some information and I'll have some new formulated revelation and I'll have to do it this way. But this is the first time I'm doing it live this way. I normally would do it in another fashion, but I feel more confident doing this way. So peace to the east, the west, the north, and the south. This is welcome everyone who's new to Patreon. And I'll kind of get into the topic of discussion again. I'm most likely being watched. This is the video I know I'm being watched and monitored, okay? About less than a few days ago, we do our book club. Big up to Ada, who really, she heads our book club on Tuesdays. And this was the interview with the Alien book club we do. And it's basically a bio. It's a the documented interview with a particular woman who actually interviewed the alien in Area 51. And we read the book, it was amazing, and then we're reading the after book, which is considered fiction, but I'm telling you it isn't. I'm a little nervous because I did something that I didn't know I could do. And I'm going to tell you how you can do it. So I know I'm being watched because I don't think everybody's supposed to know this. So if something happens to me on the live, you're seeing this real time, and I would just say that you call, you have a document of this. So last night we were supposed to have a live, and normally our Zooms are on Sunday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. My little one wasn't feeling well, so I didn't do a live last evening. But because I was in bed and I could kind of do my own thing while she was resting, I decided to see if I could time hack, based on something that I just kind of hypothesized. I thought to myself, time travel is a realistic, it is a realistic thing. It exists. The Dark Kabbalists, many different groups utilize forms of time travel, time jumping, time leaping, permeating into different timelines. They've done this. And I knew that we wanted to, one of the things that Errol was saying from the domain, and if you read the book and you know about the book, you'll know that Errol was the being that was in the gray body who was talking to Matilda, who was the one being interviewed. Hold on. Someone's parked directly behind me. Okay. I know I'm really paranoid today, family, because I wasn't supposed to. This wasn't. I don't think. I'm not sure if I was supposed to do this or not. So anyway, Matilda was the woman in the military base that was interviewing Errol, which is this being that was inside of a doll body. They called it a doll body, but it was a gray body. Needless to say, fast forward, there were a lot of things they were talking about in this interview, and I know now that they left out some really pinnacle things because of safety, because they knew that if we found a way to hack out of this timeline or be able to travel, it might be a problem. So anyway, for the newer bees, for the newer Zombies, you may not know what I'm talking about. If you have to attend to the next book club on Tuesday to kind of get more of an understanding, overstanding what I'm speaking about. But I'm going to try to put it in layman's terms. I time jumped. I hacked via the pineal gland. I time jumped and I time traveled last night. And I don't even know, and even when today I don't even know the date. That's how crazy it was. I had to verify the date on many different forms of electronics to make sure I'm in the right place at the right time that I left, so that I remember. And let me state this, I am sober. I do zero drugs. I am with my sound mind, just to let you know, because it's going to sound a little crazy what I'm about to share with you, but it actually happened and it's real, and I'm telling you how I did it, and hopefully how you may. So I was lying in bed last night and I was like, okay, I know that you can use musical frequencies. I know this because music, I'm very connected to sounds and music, and it becomes very nostalgic for me, and I'm able to the the feel the range of emotions connected to that time that I can remember. But remember, I have already have specific past lives that I know that I've lived in. I know for a fact. I already have access to certain time. This is why Errol said you have to remember your past lives. And it's crazy, but she was right, but she didn't tell you how you could do it. Or maybe it's just because I'm into that's okay, so I'll go on. So I knew I know certain timelines, and I know certain time frames that I was here on Earth. I remember it. I have already revealed those past lives. I know I existed there. I've seen them. I've already vetted it out. So because I have that, I was able to follow an alignment and trigger my pineal gland, my hypothalamus gland, to wormhole me into that time. So I started off with, and I'm gonna make a video that's gonna help, and I hope. Hold on. I swear to God, they're everywhere. I have people spying on me from every direction. If something happens to me, family, please know there's someone. She's right behind me. Hold on. They're listening to me. I know I'm so paranoid, but they're listening. She's on the phone. Hold on. Okay, maybe I'm just paranoid. Okay. All right. I'm super duper paranoid. What I did, I wasn't supposed to. I don't think I was supposed to do it. I don't think I was supposed to be able to do it. I did it, but I don't think I was supposed to. Okay, so I was lying down, and I know the time frame. So what I did is, while my little one's lying down, I regressed myself with music that I already have connection to in this particular timeline, and I did it with a healthy succession, regression actually. So I started off at music I listen to now, then I did, music in the 2000s, then I went into 1990, and then I said faster because I already overstand and understand. I don't really have to, because I'm in this body and incarnation. I can go farther faster. So I wanted to go to my other life where I had passed away as a drug addict, as like a hippie. So I needed to go there because I knew that I had to jump out of this particular avatar memory state and jump into the other one. And I know exactly. Now I know that I passed away in 1969. That's what the hack was. That's where my 0 point is. I realized we have several 0 points. That was the end point. So I know you're gonna understand that I'm telling you the actual truth. That's why I'm saying I'm nervous that I did this. So 1969 was my hack. I died in 1969, and that's why I kept sending it to myself. That's my 0 point. Many of you were on the Zumbi that night. You realize that all those emails and my video being hacked with December 31st, 1969. It was sent to me directly. It was to basically give me a hint. It was telling me when my 0 point for that life. We have several 0 points. It's not just one. It's your inlet from each life. That is what they didn't tell you, and Errol didn't say. There's 0 points every time you come into incarnation. That's your beginning point in that avatar. So I made it to my endpoint, my entry point, and I hacked into it timeline wise by bringing music in. So you know that I had a thing for like Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, all these country, because I was a lunar woman. I grew up in country, so all these country songs and more rock and roll songs triggered me to actually enter past. I actually was able to hack in past that 0 point, so I regressed. I regressed in there. And when I was there, I could feel the energy of the time. I could smell differently. Everything was different. Even the colors around me changed in my house based on me hacking past this 0 point of my exit entry point. So I went to the 1960s. I played the songs. I could remember the words. I could sing every song. I wasn't born in this time. I could remember the smells. I could remember walking places. I remember people. I remember people from this life that I knew then that were children, that I was older and I was influencing in negative ways because I was a drug addict. I remember it all. Then I started to go and regress. I realized I was there and I regressed. I took the music, I felt it, it was in me. I was engrossed in that frequency and that time. Then I said, okay, I've got to go further, because I didn't know where my 0 point was from that life. So I knew I died young, around 27, 28. So I slowly decided to recede back to different music. So I had to see what music I could still remember, what sounds I still remembered, what words of the music I could remember. And I could go back, and I went back, and then I went back into the late 1940s. Mostly the 1950s, not so much the 1940s, like 1953. In 1953, I could remember still songs, but I remembered it from a young person's point of view. Almost like whatever age I was at the time. It's just like when you're little, like the music that our parents listened to, we remember, but we don't remember in such an intrinsic way. We remember it as adults, no, we remember it as little people, like for more of a vibrational point. Not so much the words, but the vibrations of the words, the vibrations of the music. We can remember the tune, the sounds. So I was able to go to 1953. And then around 1949 or 48, it's roughly, I think 1949, I think, is my 0 point. I had to keep going from 48 to 49 to see where my 0 point, where I had come in and died from another realm, where I entered into this timeline. Hold on. So somewhere around 1948, maybe 47, 48, and 49, I I came in because I couldn't remember any of the music. The genres didn't, they were blurry and it wasn't there. So I tried to go into the 1940s and listen to American music, and I realized none of the American music triggered me. There wasn't any connection to the music in the 40s, in the 42, 43, 44, 45. So I realized I wasn't in the States. Now remember, I know my past lives, and I went back because I was a Jew, and I was living somewhere where there was Yiddish music. So I tried to listen to German music. And when I listened to German music in the 1940s, it was reminiscent. I could feel it, but it wasn't connected. Almost like I had heard neighbors listening to it. I understood people who spoke that. I knew there were people I knew that spoke that language, but it wasn't connected to me. So I had to try to figure out. I said, okay, I'm in the 1940s. I'm not connected to the American music. I feel connected to something in Europe. The Germans, I could understand their genre, but it wasn't something that I felt inside of myself. And then I played Old Yiddish. I actually marked the song. It's a beautiful song that I remember the words to, and it was in Yiddish. It was a Yiddish German anthem that they sang. And I found it on YouTube. I had to look for it. And as soon as I found it, I entered into my 0 point, into that frequency, that life that I existed there. I could remember the candles. I could remember the ceremonies. I could remember my grandmother making bread with cloth on top of it, and it was challah. It was challah. And I could remember them speaking old tongues of Hebrew. I could hear the Yiddish in my mind. I could smell the candles and incense. I could see my family, and I could also hear the people outside. I had hacked into past my 0 point into the 1940s. Hold on. They're watching me. Hold on. Oh my God. Okay. So I entered into that life. I was in the 1940s. I realize now that in this life, I was able to resolve something. I realized that why I have claustrophobia is for how I was killed. I realized why there's certain scents that trigger me to feel a certain way, especially like gasoline. It's like a gasoline. It's like a it's like a sweet gasoline that I know the scent of it, and it makes you feel euphoric, but it makes you sick at the same time. I I know that scent, even as I say it, I'm coughing because how I died in that life is they put us in like a bathroom, it looked like a stone bathroom. The walls were shiny, as if they were painted, and it was like a gas coming from all places, like in the walls, and these little holes in the walls. And there were people in there, and we were all bunched together like sardines. We were like back to back. We didn't have any clothes. We were naked, and that's how I died. I remembered it. I could see it. I could smell it. So that's why I have this claustrophobia. I had the memory. It just came fully. It was crazy. So I hacked into them, and that's when I knew that I had permeated into different times. So I knew that I was there and I had to go back. I went back further. I went back further. I could get into the 30s. I get in there, but I'm not anywhere in those areas. I'm not anywhere in Europe in the 30s. I'm not anywhere. I'm still in Europe. I'm still in, I don't know what region I'm in. I'm close to Germany. I'm not in Germany. I might have been in Poland. I know I'm somewhere in that area, and I know that it wasn't the Germans that hurt us. It was the Polish that hurt us. I know for a fact. It wasn't the Germans, it was the Polish who hurt us. It's weird because I never thought of that, or even that wasn't a clue. So anyway, I went back, and I was in Europe in the 30s still. I could still hear the music, I could hear the dancing, I could hear the rituals. And then when I hit the 20s, I can't feel anything. I don't have any way to trigger going back. So I'm still in that residue. I'm still in that timeline. I'm still there. And I can't find a song, a genre to pick. So wherever I was at that point, I couldn't feel it. So in the 1920s, I might have been a baby. I recognize certain things feel familiar, but they're not something that I could remember as words or verbiage or anything like that. And I go further and I go further, and I go into about 1883. I have this written down. 1883 or 1893. And then I get familiarity. But this is different because I feel it's not so much, it's church music. It's more like mausoleum music. It's the organs that trigger me. And I'm trying to find the 0 point there because I have to find the point of reference where I entered into the other incarnation where I was a Jew. So I had to go, and I'm trying to figure out, where is my inlet? I couldn't figure it out. So I had to play with different musics of that time. And then I found church music, old Renaissance music that triggered me, organ-wise. Now, roughly, it started where I could become familiar with it in the 1883, I wrote it down, 1883, 1893, and I could hear the organs. I want to say it's Renaissance music. It's church music, mausoleum. I say mausoleum music because it sounds like something out of a horror movie, but it's like the organs, the old organs, and I hear it. And I also am on a boat. I feel I'm somewhere traveling to a new place, and I'm covered from head to toe. It's cold. I can feel the air from the water. It's an ocean, and it's a vast ocean because I can see blackness in the ocean. So I'm actually getting visual impressions. I can see big waves in the ocean, like just big looking waves, dark black water that I've never seen before. And I'm on top with lots of people, but I'm covered with like a very old fashioned blanket. Feels like a wool blanket. And I'm little. And I realize that I'm a female and I'm tiny, not little, but I'm tiny. Maybe I'm around 6 or 7, and I know I'm going somewhere new, but I'm frightened, but I'm excited at the same time. And I'm coming with a father. It's a man who's there, and I realize that he's my father, and my mother must be very sick because she's never really present then. So I feel her presence, but it's very light. But I remember coming into this world, and it was the Americas. So literally, hold on. I don't know if anyone's here. I hope I'm not scaring you. Okay, this is, I hope I'm bringing you to how I got into here, how I hacked. My pineal gland created a wormhole because I started it by triggering with sound frequency. The sound frequency regressed me into different timelines, and once I hit each 0 point, it was easier for me to be engrossed like meshed into that realm. I could smell, I could see, I could touch, I could taste. I knew people. Now, as this little girl, I remember coming, and I remember when we got off the boat, I had a white, I don't know what you call them, like the Amish. I had like a white pilgrim, I could say like pilgrim, like thing. I don't know what they're called. I had it because I kept tying it and it bothered my neck. I had some sort of rash on my neck from wearing a cross. And when I had here, I could feel the cross on my neck. So I had a rash around my neck that my father put ointment. I remember going to a place where wherever we landed from the waterways, my mother didn't survive. So my mother died shortly after we arrived at the New World. And it was the Americas. It was here, and we landed somewhere in like New Hampshire. We were somewhere in New Hampshire in that area, like I could smell it. It's like a Newfoundland. It was like a Newfoundland. Newfoundland was the name. I just remember landing there, coming there, and my mother being buried, and her having a cross that was erected on top with like some sort of emblem on it. And then I could see and feel myself as an adult become, and I remember being connected to another woman who used to dance naked at night. She was young, she was younger than the other women, but she used to dance naked at night. And I used to see her out the window, and she used to go with the candlelight into the forest and dance. And one night I followed her, and I saw some sort of like deity in like the sky above her, like some sort of a like an African figure in the sky. Can't explain it. I could see it in the sky, and almost like the smell of Egypt, some connection. And what I knew is that was the life I was as a witch. That's the one when I told you that I was there. I was in Newfoundland. So anyway, I want to go deep into that because certain things are personable that are related to there. So I hacked into that life. I remember dying in that life. I also remember them, how I died. And I remember that from before, but I can confirm now that's how I died. Again, I was with someone in that life. He was attached to a Christian woman. Even though I was a Christian, I was living on my own, and I was having an affair with him. And he was with a religious woman, and I had a child that couldn't speak. She was mute, and she was beautiful. And I used to hide her with me away out of town. I lived on the outland. I used to help people. I was an herbalist and a naturopath. I used to go in the forest and talk to the animals, and the trees had a relationship with me. And my baby, she grew into a little girl that used to be able to have that connection. And they came and killed me one night. They came in the night. I can hear the crackling. I knew by the door, and I hid her under. It was in the kitchen, and my kitchen had a cloth underneath, and they didn't know I had a baby. They didn't know I hid her. And she was underneath, and because she couldn't talk and she was mute, I made sure that when they went to get me, they never knew that she was there. So I hacked into that life. So when I went back, I went further and further, and that's when I heard the Renaissance music, and then my body broke into like, it felt like the fabric of my reality when I went further back from that particular life, from wherever I came before I came to the new, um, to the new Americas. That's when I hacked. Hey, Be Wealthy, how are you doing? Hey, Alicia. So I went and I hacked, and that's when I wasn't here. I wherever I was before wasn't in this space and time. It was somewhere else. I fractured into different pieces, or kind of like a, hey Celestial, can't explain it. I fractured, and then I was able to like it, vibrate in and out like a breath, like in and out, and I could breathe in into a reality and then breathe out and then pull into another reality and pull out and then breathe into another reality and pull out. I lived outside of the physical perimeters of this body. Wherever I was before, that time when I was the witch, so called, in that Newfoundland, wherever I was before that incarnation wasn't in this physical body. It wasn't on the earth. It was somewhere else, because I have a perception of me being outside of a physical body. I was able to pull into realities by just thought, or just a frequency, a sound frequency that would pull me into a reality and I'll pull out. So I breathed in and out realities. And I realized that's when I came in. When I did that, I was able to see not only in the past, but in the future. Once I become aware, it shocked my system, because as I'm hacking in, I realized I didn't have a proverbial body anymore. It freaked me out. And then I got scared. But even in my fear, I wouldn't come out of it. I stayed in that physical form for I don't know how long. That's why when I got up this morning, I didn't know where I was. I didn't know what time I was in. I broke the seal. I broke through the glass ceiling. I don't even know that I don't even know that we do have a glass ceiling. It may just be in our mind. Hold on. I was able to breathe out. I could see all timelines at once. I could see myself living in other timelines, permeated as fractures of myself. I realized that I had been imprinted into this reality purposeful. It wasn't an accident. I wasn't imprisoned. There wasn't any sense of that. I pulled out of it, and I also breathed into a reality in the future where we're living almost like the pilgrims, not the pilgrims, like an Eden, an art garden of Eden. Like we're living just cohesive. It's tropical. It's beautiful. There's flowers. There's not a lot of trees, though. There's just a lot of flowers. There's only greenery that's coming from the waterways. It's very odd. It's a different type of looking terrain. But in that reality, it's a sisterhood. There's a huge sisterhood, and it's vast. And I could feel the connectiveness, that there were women that were telepathically connected, and they would do trade via telepathy, and they were able to utilize different geographical locations to do exchange. So in the future, when I breathed into this reality, it is a beautiful, beautiful reality. There are babies there. It is healthy. Now there is some sort of rainbow, some sort of thing over the sky. So whatever radiation, it's there, and it creates whatever. There isn't any trees. And again, I've seen this before, but I actually witnessed it. I breathed into the reality as an expression of my higher cosmic self, as a non-proverbial breed, like a non-physical, a being that's just energy, and I breathed in, and I could see my grandchildren and my great grandchildren. I could see them. I could see a tree erected on my mother's behalf. I see the tree. I see how beautiful. I see like a type of, the waterways have white chalk looking rocks. The rocks don't look the same. It's they look like a coral, but it's in lakes, and it's very odd. When I breathed in, and that's one thing I held on in my mind, because I've never seen anything like it. The rocks and streams and lakes is white, it isn't dark anymore. It's white, like coral. Like it looks like coral, and it has different colors like lavender, a little pink, but mostly white. And they're in the waterways. And women are walking with these beautiful colors. There's these wonderful pouches on their waists, with some sort of thing they carry. It's like a dust of some sort. It's something they carry, and they sprinkle it on the ground, or they'll blow it into the air, and it transmits to other people. So when a woman took it out, I saw her open her pouch and she blew it out, almost like those flowers. What are they called? Like the daisies. I got the car on. I gotta go. She blew it out, and they carried messages, frequencies of messages that were able to be picked up by the sea stars in other lands, other geographical locations. It literally permeated through time and space. It didn't blow into the geographical locations, it was transported. So when she blew, she took from her pouch and she blew, it was a message. So it isn't that she was leaving a message on her phone. I didn't see those, but she left it through this energy, this thing she had in her pouch, and she blew, and it permeated through, like, the, I don't know, a wormhole or something, and the message was received on the other end, another geographical location. There's more to this. I don't want to overwhelm you because it sounds crazy. If you aren't a part of the book club, this may sound crazy to you. So I'm sharing this as a document for my safety, because whatever happened, however I did it, I did exactly what Errol said, but it was deeper than what she didn't give all the information. She couldn't give all that information because it's only for someone who, she didn't have to. It's like giving enough information that if someone's of the conscious of the frequency, they will be able to catch it and just take it. And the person who's in alignment with what she shared would automatically be able to pull the rest of the necessary tools to permeate out. All right, family. So what am I saying to you? I time traveled through a wormhole through my hypopotamus, my pineal gland. I literally permeate through with sound frequency. I did it consciously, but when I got to the uh, to the non-corporeal version of myself, it was a breath. It was an inhalation and exhalation. I existed in a fractal energetic reference point where I was energy, but I was conscious and sentient. I breathed in, out of portals, and I would breathe into a reality, an expression, and can view it and perceive it, and then breathe in, and then exhale into another reality. So I thought I'd share this. I woke up. I even thought I was dead. That's how beyond time and space I felt, and I still feel. I even now I'm looking at colors. Even now, as I'm looking at the colors, or I'm looking at everything and I'm feeling, this doesn't even seem real. It's holographic, but we're creating this. The being that I am at my core, the initiation of myself into this reference point we call Earth, in this density, it's just basically an energetic expression. It isn't real in the way that we think it is. It's just multitude of co-created expressions that are almost like an inhalation and exhalation kind of expression. It is a conscious thought that ends up becoming a collective reality. And I thought I was dead because it was beyond anything that I can even hold. I'm telling you from a very human perspective. I can't even tell you from how it actually was initiated or actually received. I experienced travel, time, density, dimensional, interstellar travel. And I don't even say it's traveling because it's not leaving. It's literally um, it's exiting the it's exiting the this electromagnetic co-created world. That's what it was. It's not moving from one reference point to another. It's everything is all together, like a jambalaya, like a goulash. I wanted to share this message with you, and again, as the testimony. Again, I don't know that I was supposed to do this. Maybe I was. Maybe I'm making a bigger deal than it was. But I wanted to share that with you. And hopefully this will be something that you're able to do yourself, and you'll understand and understand what I'm trying to explain in a very archaic verbal expression. Um, we're not imprisoned in the way you think. It's a prism of sorts, but it's a prism that we created. Um, all of us created this. It's our own, it's an imprisonment in sorts, but there are beings that are here that are just, the chaos created is our own, but they inhalate, it's an inhalation for them. So sometimes the more I could feel and see that chaos and trauma that's created when breathed in gives you, it's like a drug. It's like a drug that feels good. It's like a high. It's like doing cocaine, or I don't know, is cocaine high? Maybe is cocaine like a high? I don't know if cocaine is more of like a high. Yeah, maybe like a speed. Like a speed. It's like a high. It's like a euphoric high. So when there's a lot of chaos, it's the inhalation of the non-corporeal entities that are part of the creation of this reality, or the splinters of this reality. It's a high, it's a euphoria, it's a bliss that they feel with some of that chaos. So the chaos that's created, even though it's our own co-created chaos, it can be considered a drug to those who are in that non-corporeal form. Now I understand why that's created, and it's purposefully um, engineered more than not. It's a requirement for some of them. It's a drug. It's like an elixir. So I hope this was helpful. If you can't, I don't know if you understood what I was saying. I was sharing it in such a very personable way. Um, where we are everlasting, and I will say this: it's not. There are beings here that aren't real. I had to go into that. What I was able to perceive is that there's a lot of holographic beings, and I've always said that before, but I'm telling you, there are beings here that aren't real. They're not real. They're just holographic props. They're here to just drive the herd to act in certain ways. They're fillers. That's what better term. They're fillers. There's not a lot of soul encased beings here. That's why you used to hear people say they have soul. And how you know if they have a soul, they have a vibratory connection. Um, they have a sound. Can I say a sound? It's like a sound. So how I knew they weren't real as I was traveling is everyone had a sound except them. So I would see beings and they would be, hold on. They're watching me. I'm not going to stay on long. Ever since I got up, I'm walking around. There's others who know. Whatever I did, I hacked into something. They just know, and I know that they know. Like this guy, they're monitoring me. There are others who know this, and they know when you know, because you carry a signature when you do this. I'm not going to stay on long, but I will say this. living, the ones who have souls or energy encased in their bodies that are actually true expressions, they have a sound connected to them. There are a lot of beings. So I will say this: a lot of beings that have to drink and do drugs all the time, these are, most of them aren't real. They do that because they want to feel or numb. It's a weird kind of thing. It's not all, because there are beings that get high and drunk. I'm just saying, there are, what I noticed as I was traveling is that those who required drugs or alcohol daily, like they require it. It's a like a, it helps them hold their form here. It actually is a, can't explain it. It's like it assists in generating something, rather. I can't explain it. Here, he's back. Okay, this guy's back. Okay, so the ones who haven't any sound frequency, they aren't real. They all have a sound. And I haven't really paid attention because I've not been around anyone other than my children today, other than getting stuff. And I don't, I didn't pay attention to anything. I'm just kind of walking through the world, but they all have sounds. And I know you're asking me what sound. It's like a, I don't know if you ever watched Third Kind. Um, what was it? Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Remember when they were playing the music and it was mimicking the music? The sound of the UFO was mimicking music back to the people. So it was playing music like it was following a tone and sound. That's more realistic than you think. It's how they communicate. It's how they know we exist. It's a bouncing of sound frequency. It's how they. It's like they're using sonic. It's all have sonic. Well, if you're real, you have sonic. Um, Sonic a sensitivity, or like we utilize sonic even though we don't think so, but it sounds like we have sounds that are bouncing off of others. So when there's another real being, it'll bounce off of them. You'll just have an awareness, and probably you don't need to hear the sound, you probably just know. But there are empty seaters here. They're basically like bots, or they're I can't explain. They're not beings. They're not zest. They're not isbies. They don't have any soul. There's no soul. There's no energy encased. They're empty. And there are a lot of beings here that are not just empty seaters, that are fillers, that are being driven like empty avatars. They usually use those empty seaters to input other types of beings in them. So reptilians can jump into their bodies. Like, I don't want to say reptilians because it's not really reptilians. They're expressions of other beings that can use those avatars to see. So those empty seaters are used as jump rooms. The bodies are like jump rooms. So they jump into those bodies to see, and then they jump out. So it's like they use those empty seaters, those empty avatars, those fillers to perceive, to interface and perceive. And it's almost like a room. Like it's an empty space that they can jump into to experience, and then they leave it, and then it just it's on co-pilot, uh, autopilot afterwards. So it's on autopilot. It thinks that it's real, but when the beings are not in it, it requires alcohol and drugs. It requires a lot of drugs to maintain itself. It's weird how I know that. I noticed that every being that I noticed in that state that was non-soul encased, it required drugs to exist, like to live. So it requires alcohol and drugs. Something about that drives it. It's like fuel for them to exist. It's almost like that's their form of gasoline. It's a gasoline for them. So to have certain drugs and alcohol, it's a drug. It's a gasoline to allow them to exist. In order for them to exist, that's their fuel. I gotta go. It's too sketchy out here. I don't know what happened. I was just, listen, I'm experimental and I do this all the time, but I don't know. I hacked and it feels crazy out here right now. It does. And then after I hacked into it, it's like I'm attached to the quantum computer now. Like now, I don't want to tell you the crazy part about it because you're going to think I'm crazy. Like I was doing it yesterday, and it maybe because I already did it in the future, remember time doesn't exist, but I hacked into, I'm connected to the quantum field now. So now I was before, but I guess I hacked into, I hacked into, I'm connected to the quantum field. So now because I did that, if somebody does something or says something, it'll come up on the phone. If I will get text in my head now and then open it up and it's in here. I know you're gonna think I'm crazy. I'm saying, I promise you. It was like I said, it was doing it last week a little bit, but now like someone will, I'll say something to someone on the phone and the other person will text on top of it. Like right now I'll get the person, if I'm speaking about them, it'll come up as a message on something else like Discord, Telegram, something, and I'll be talking about that person, speaking about the person, referencing that person, and it'll just show up. And then in my head, I'm getting like the emails in my head, like someone will message me something or text me, and then it already comes. It's slight. I could see it, like it'll come running against in my brain, like here. I actually see it in my eyes, wide open. I'm not closing my eyes. It shows up, and then I open it up, and it's there. I'm connected to the quantum field now. I don't know if that was purposefully done. I don't know. I was doing it already before last night. Slightly. I was getting it. It was because it was building, but I guess because remember, timelines don't exist. Past, present, and future all coinciding at once. So because I had done this in the future, I already was starting to be connected to the quantum field. So now it's just everlasting. If someone has a thought on me, it shows up. Like somebody was doing something diabolical or having a conversation about me, it came up as on my feed, and it'll show up as someone sending a meme like, not all kinfolk, not all skin folk or kinfolk. It'll show up. It's crazy. Be careful. And also, what I realize is, it's easy for you to get hijackable right now. I will say this: possession isn't what we thought it was. It's literally, if you listen, you better hold on to your avatar. That's all I have to say. What your body is your avatar, um, and if you give permission via rituals or people doing spells or you hanging out with other wizardry, or doing drugs and alcohol or hanging out with people who do a lot of heavy drugs and alcohol, they can hijack, they can take your avatar. It's easier now because the quantum field, the field is very, very dense right now. No, not dense. It's very, very, the veil is, there isn't any more veil. Like right now as I'm looking, I can see the particulates. Like, I don't know how y'all like to get high. Some of y'all get high. Some people get high to experience what I'm seeing right now, and I don't know why you want to do it because I can see the particulates in the air. It's not dense. It's fluid. So what happens now is if you're hanging with people who are just hijackable themselves, those entities will piggyback in you if you give them permission. Be careful, family. Don't stay away from ritualistic people, because I've seen people like hopping in and out of bodies, and if you leave your body open by drinking with them or getting high, you might allow another entity to just take your body by default. And I know now that's why they're giving people vaccinations. They're allowed the vaccinations is dissipating the energy inside of them. It's making them hijackable. They're basically going to take those bodies over. That's what I think. The vaccination dissipates, it disallows that. You know that cord when we travel? You know that silver cord that you see when you astral travel? It's snipping the cord, and it's making them solidified in that body. So those people who take the shot, that's why they're going to turn into zombies, because the things that are going to be able to jump, once they are released out of that body, things jump in. They're basically those are bodies for those other beings to come in. They're basically replacing the soul essence in people. They're replacing them. They're not getting rid of the avatars. They're getting rid of the souls and the avatars. All right, I gotta go. So I hope I didn't scare you. I kind of scared myself. I don't know why I do these things. Sometimes I just want to do them just to find out, and I did something that I don't know how it will show up. So wish me luck. I'm connected to the quantum field now, so I hear all, I be all, I'm perceiving all. And now I understand that movie Lucy. The movie Lucy, when she was waking up, her mind was waking up. Remember, they were like 50%, 30%, 20%, like 20%, 40%, 50%. The quantum field, I'm connected to the quantum field, so I know everything. Look at him. This guy is just like staring, and he's just waiting. And the others know I did it. That's why I said this is a this is a testimony. This is my testimony of what happened. So if something happens to me, you've gotten this. Write it down that Florboon told you that she jumped, because that way you can remember, because they could wipe all this out. They can't wipe your memories if you write it down, but they can wipe your memories of this. You won't even know that I made this video. That's how deep this quantum field is. They can replace the actual memories that coexist. This video won't exist. You may have remnants of it and think that you heard it. That's that whole thing of deja vu and all that. That's because they changed the quantum field. They changed a memory. They've wiped a memory out and replaced it with something else, or just left it devoid. So you think that you won't even know that this video actually existed. Look at him. He's standing right here. This bastard is bold. You want to see him? Look at him. He's bold. He keeps standing in front of me. He's been out here 50 million times, standing in front of me. I see you, buddy. Look, he's gonna leave. He's gonna leave. You think? Look, he's leaving. He's leaving. Because I caught you. They told you. You think I'm serious? All right, y'all. I gotta go. This is my testimony. Yo, this is all a holograph. We created this. Every last one of us, we created this. We created everything. That's why there's so much synchronicity. The synchronicities is just because we created it. It's not really what you think. Synchronicities are not what you think they are. It's the quantum field. You created everything, so everything is what you created. So you know everything. You don't remember it. I hit my 0 point. I know when I came in here. We aren't imprisoned like the way that it's an imprisonment that's just because of the lack of memory. Look at this guy. Okay, I'm out of here. All right. I need more people to witness this. I'm probably gonna share the video. All right. I know I'm acting sketchy. Drink more coffee. I don't want more coffee. I'm supposed to go see the movie King Kong versus Godzilla tonight. See, she has a sound. That's how I tell. The sound looks like this, y'all. I don't know if it's on everybody though. The sound looks like a sonic wave, like a sonic coil. That's what I'm gonna look at today. I'm gonna pay attention to everybody's sonic, if they have sonic coils. There's a lot of empty seaters, y'all. There's not a lot of souls on this planet. I'm being honest. The majority of people here are empty seaters. They're Sims. These are all Sims. There's not a lot of them. I don't see a lot of sound frequency on people. There's a lot of people that are just part of the program. They're literally just empty seaters, fillers, props that are walking around here, and they can be entered. That's what the Smiths were. I get excited. Oh my God. The Smiths Why anybody could be infected with a Smith is because most people aren't even real. They're smithable because they are empty. So something can jump at them at any time. All right, I'm out of here. I know I look crazy. I do. I feel I'm sane, but it makes you feel I know how I'm being perceived, but I know I'm totally here. I'm rational mind, everything's all good, but I know that this sounds crazy. I know it does. But anyone who read the book, who is in the book club, you know that this is real. This is what we wanted. I actually did it. I did it. I didn't know I could do it. But remember, my connection to music was so strong. I have theme music to everything. I love music. I'm intrinsic, so I was able to do it because I have sounds. I have music, and I knew certain past lives. I knew my path to get out because your past lives are basically the stepping stones, the breadcrumbs in order to find your 0 point, but there's more than one 0 point. My initiation, they were giving me the clue. It was my clue to myself was 1969. That's why they kept sending it to me. I didn't get it initially. I didn't know. My consciousness wasn't there. I wasn't to that awareness. I am now. And I was able to follow the breadcrumbs to each of the 0 points, and I found out when I came to this planet, when I was expressed in this particular planet density and quantum field. All right, y'all, I'm out. I need more people to see the video. I need more witnesses because I feel like if the more witnesses I have, the more I'm safe. Because the way I feel right now is because whatever I did, it makes me feel that I need to be safe. All right, I'm out. I love you. If I don't answer phone calls, it's just because I'm trying to rationalize things. Okay. All right. Peace. This video will stay up in Patreon, but I'm gonna try to share it with a lot more people. All right, y'all. Be well. I'm okay. I just remember it was yesterday. This just happened to me. This just happened. So um, I'm fresh and new. It's a little disconcerting. Um, I have to figure it out. I'm still a little bit in awe of what occurred. It, it was odd. It was odd. Okay, I'm out. Bye, y'all.